Hey, I want to make sure it's good. Welcome back to the O of Course show. Ugh, I don't know why I said the O of Course show. The Marco Martinez show. Welcome back, everyone. If my voice sounds a little bit weird, sorry. Got a little bit emotional. Sorry about that. Let me try to fix the thing. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry if I got a little bit emotional. Just thinking of some things and I mean, it just happens to the best of us. Happens to all of us. Just getting emotional. But anywho, like I said, welcome back. How's everyone's morning doing? How is everyone doing today? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling okay? Are you driving to work saying, fuck this shit, I don't want to go to work today? Are you? Just genuinely, how are you feeling? Me, I don't honestly know what I'm feeling. No, sometimes I like to think that. Sometimes, like, have you ever thought about that? Have you ever just kind of gone with your day? Like, let's say you woke up and honestly just genuinely did not know what you were doing. Like, have you ever just lied in bed, excuse me, sat, either sat on it, like sat on your bed, maybe sat on your chair, or like in the living room, or in your car, or in the kitchen, or just standing? Like, have you ever just kind of just had that blank stare because you just genuinely don't know what to feel? Like, you don't know what you're feeling, to where sometimes you kind of, I think it's called like what the fuck is it, imposter syndrome, I believe, where sometimes you genuinely don't know why you're here, I think. Or you think, I think it's like you think you're living a life, like a different life or something like that. Fuck, what is it? I think it's what it is, where it's like you're living a life that you don't think you feel like you deserve. I think is what it's called. I think that's like the definition. Should I like have it more kind of like this? I don't know. Just trying to, but um, I think that's what it's called. And no, I guess you can say sometimes I feel like that too. Well, it's not too long ago. Why do you think I got a little bit emotional? I am kind of feeling that. Sometimes I just wake up and I kind of just reflect back on just what I've been doing, and high school, elementary, junior high. Now, I'm just like, damn, I literally moved 6 hours away. This isn't even my final stopping point. Still, but uh, I was like, even like I even had periods when I was younger, when I was in elementary, in junior high, where I too would still have these thoughts. Where sometimes I genuinely am like, what am I doing here? What am I doing in life? And and it's not in like no like depressing way. Just genuinely, what am I doing here? And I mean, I guess everyone has those thoughts. Um, because I'm not like popular by any demand. And I mean, clearly the numbers of the podcast tell. I mean, shout out to like my 6 listeners. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me on on days where I honestly don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Um, but um, like, have you ever just woken up one day before going to work, or just kind of on your day off, and just kind of realize, just what are you doing? Like, you genuinely don't know who you are sometimes. Like, one day you're just, you're living the moment, you're doing what you're doing. You're out with your wife, you're out with your girlfriend, you're living life. You're doing something. But then have you then just kind of woke up one day and you're like, what am I doing? Who am I? Genuinely ask yourself, who are you? And that's not even in a mean way, just genuinely like, who are you? And I mean, you can label yourself as, as you. Like me, I can label myself as me, as Marco. Um, and you can label yourself as like as an engineer, as a doctor, whatever the case may be. But sometimes you're still just like, who am I? And sometimes you kind of look at your decisions that you've made, and in the past, could have been past hour, past day, weeks, months, years, and you'll still ask yourself, who am I? Why did I do those things? Because have you ever made decisions where you regretted it later? Where let's say, let's say a big one with like college, you decided, oh hey, I don't want to go to college, so you kind of skip that, and then maybe 5 years later, you're like, man, life is very fucking hard. Why did I not go to college? And why this and why that? Or why didn't I ask that girl to dance in junior high or in high school? Because now you look up on her on either like Instagram or Facebook, and let's say she's married now, or or she's still single, but just not. I wouldn't say like not in the way you wanted. Just like, let's say she's single, but just just works at the gas station, works at Walmart, and you're like, wow, I would have never thought that would have been the thing that would have happened. Or just kind of, or like why you never took that job opportunity, or why you didn't leave your job. Let's say you are at a current job that you fucking hate. Maybe it may pay you like 18 an hour, 20 an hour, like a pretty good wage, but you're miserable. You wake up every day and you're like, damn, I don't want to go to work. And I know that's everyone. You can love what you do and still say, man, I don't feel like doing that today. I kind of just want to have a little break. And it's okay to have breaks. Why do you think vacations exist? Like, um, have you ever like actually genuinely loved your job, whatever it is, whatever your job is, and you're just like, damn, I fucking hate this place now. But it's not that you hate it; it's just you need a little break from it. But anywho, sounds like I'm going off topic. Anywho, just have you just reflected yourself? Just reflected back on things like that. And the reason why I'm asking is because, like usual, I mean, I'll scroll through TikTok and shit, and I found one on, funnily enough, YouTube Shorts, and it was about this lady. She was like, basically about decisions. On don't stress so much on the decisions you're gonna make. It's basically the premise of the thing. And you might ask yourself, like, well, what the fuck do you mean? Like, of course I'm gonna stress on decisions. I mean, they're decisions. But she said that's the thing. She tells her students not to stress about it because, I mean, whatever happens, happens. Whatever decision you made, and it happened. There's nothing you can do because, like, think about like again, like let's say, you decide to leave a job, and then you left a job to go somewhere else to either like let's say like work at a different job, or you decided just to DoorDash slash like Uber Eats, like more because like a ride share. Well, let's say more of the delivery driver, and then you also want to do like Lyft and Uber. Like you decided to do that too, and then like let's say 2 years later, you're just like not making a lot. Not only are you not making a lot, but you're not like you also don't have the benefits you used to have when you were working a job, like discounts to depending on where you were at, like discounts to your job. Like if you worked retail, like when I like working at Walmart or like Target, whatever the case may be, you used to have discounts or you used to have those benefits. Yeah, you used to have a steady pay, steady schedule, and you decided to try something new, and you're like, damn. Now, maybe I shouldn't have left my job. Maybe I should have just stuck it out. I shouldn't have done that. And or um let's say you decided to move. You decided to move from your hometown, like, and also just like move away from your parents because you said, "Hey, as much as I love you guys, I kind of just want to explore the world. I want to just see what's out there." Whether, I mean, I know I'm gonna struggle, but I just want to see the beauty of the world. I don't want to be that hometown kid that never leaves, or that hometown kid, or those hometown kids with an S that don't leave, that they just genuinely don't leave, and then 5 years later, or even just 2 years later, you're like, damn, living by myself is expensive. Electricity is expensive, rent's expensive, simple gas and groceries are expensive. Fucking, like, clothes are expensive. Bills are expensive, and you're like, damn, why did I leave? And you kind of like, life would have been a lot better if maybe I just stuck it out and just stayed at home. But then that's also the thing. What she was also saying of, would it have been better? Would it have been better if you stayed home? Just genuinely think about it. Would it have been better? Because yes, right now you may be experiencing that type of like stress, that type of just honestly just like stress, like just that type of stuff. But then just actually ask yourself, would life be better if you decided not to make that decision? And you may think, well, hell yeah, it would have been. But in that decision, like, just like reflect back on those decisions, and yeah, you realize how expensive life is, electricity, everything, bills, food, whatever. But you're learning. You're now learning the real world. You're now learning how bills work. You're gonna have to start learning how, like living on your own. You're gonna start learning how to manage your money a little bit better, and all that. And you would have never known that 2 years if you still decided to stay with your parents. You would have never known that if you lived with them for 2 years. You genuinely would have never known that. In those 2 years, you would have just thought, it's nice having it this cheap, but you would have never known. Or if you thought, oh man, I should have made my move on that one girl in high school or that one boy in high school. I don't even know what he or she's doing anymore. Like, I don't have them on social. I forgot their names. Or let's say you do have them on social, and let's say they're still single, or let's say they are married, maybe married, or they're in a long time relationship or whatever, and you're like, man, I should have made my move. Hey, life would have been a lot better if I made my move and would have been dating him or her. But also thinking to yourself, would it have been better? Like, would it have been? God, would it been better if that were the case? Like, would it? Because, like, I guess it's like what your destiny or whatever the hell it is. Like, that's your timeline. Things like that are supposed to happen for a reason. So with like your decisions, when you decide, man, I fucked that up, I should have not done that. That was supposed to happen. That's part of your timeline, and you just have to make that decision. Like, you may have thought that life would have been better, but then maybe you would have been a lot more depressed. Maybe you could have, like, let's say if you dated him or her, and let's say you were never an alcoholic and never a smoker, and then you dated them, and then here you are, an alcoholic. a smoker or whatever the case may be that you never were 2 years ago, and then let's say you break up and you revert to alcohol to fix your problems. Here you are now an alcoholic. In that 2 year, let's say in like a 2 year window, that if let's say you made a decision to stay with that person, here you are again, not saying this would have been, but it could have been this. Here you are, you're an alcoholic now. But yet, but because you didn't make that decision, you made this other decision. Here you are, you still don't drink, you still don't smoke because that's what you enjoy. You don't do that, and maybe you're still single, and you say, I need to go find someone. But let's say like you don't have that interest in someone of being a smoker or a drinker or whatever, and so you find someone who is healthier in that sense. So then now you may think, like, now look back at that and say, well, because you never made that decision, you may have found someone better, someone who actually would have made you a lot happier. Or let's say that person never made you happy. Let's say in the beginning maybe, but in a relationship they didn't cut it. They just did not have it. And then you would have been a hell of a lot miserable in that 2 year span than your current 2 year span. Like, basically what she was saying is, don't stress about decisions you make, just do them. Do them because there will always be a result. Well, yeah, there's always bad decisions, there's good decisions. There's good results and there's bad results. But no one can predict the future. It's just you make the decision. Go ahead, like with me, when I was with the Briley team, and when it came to making calls, one of my struggles is making calls. I don't know why I was just always so scared to make calls. I genuinely don't know why I was just terrified to make calls. And what happened? I didn't do anything. I didn't even have near a sale. I got kicked out. Well, more so because of my license being expired, but then also because I just was not putting in the work. I was too scared because I never made the decision to move forward. I never made the decision to make those calls because I was always scared of, oh, well, what if they don't like me? Or, oh, what if they start screaming at me? Or, man, I'm scared. Like, what if they just tell me no? Okay, go make the call and go. Oh, because then also what I was trying to do was finding a way to perfect the call, to perfect what to say. And not saying that's not bad, because you have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to speak. But if you spend too much time trying to do that rather than doing it, it can bite you in the ass, and that's what happened to me. That was a decision I made. I wanted to perfect what my words were rather than doing said things. And I technically I'm an inactive realtor because I need to pay my fucking dues. But I mean, those were decisions I made, and do I regret them? Yes, of course I regret them. I regret not doing what I was supposed to, not just making the calls, or like making more content, being too scared. But then I also just look back and say, would it still been better? Like, what have I still been with the Briley team? What if they made some changes and said, hey, buddy, you got to go. You haven't made anything in 3 months. You got to go. So it's like, what have things been better if I stayed? If I made those decisions? Who knows? I don't know. And I sometimes still reflect on that, but then that also has taught me a lesson of, hey, maybe next time, don't be scared. Don't be scared to make that decision. Because me being scared I've I could have missed so many opportunities. I mean, yes, also me not being also me being scared. I mean, um, may have created some opportunities too. But then also me, if I wasn't scared to just do it, could have created a whole world of opportunities. But that's the beauty of life. You just make the decision, and whatever happens, happens. And that's like how they say, that's just gonna be part of your timeline. Whatever happens, happens. Like, obviously, I mean, you can always change. You can always change your future. Like, if you, let's say, are a retail worker and you genuinely don't know what you want to do in your life, so you don't strive for anything better. You don't strive to be, to either, let's say, if it's making more money, you don't strive to do that. You don't strive to have a higher status. You don't strive for anything. So you just stay as a retail worker. Obviously, you're going to be a retail worker if you decide not to change anything. Or if you're overweight and you say, man, like, I hate being overweight, but you don't decide to do anything about it, you're going to stay overweight. Or like with those habits, it's going to keep you being overweight. But if you decide, hey, I'm sick and tired of this, I need to start doing something. So let's say, like with your overweight, you decide to start, let's say your first step is to start cutting how much you're eating. Let's say, I'm not saying it's bad to eat 3 times a day, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but let's say for all three you ate a fuck ton. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you would always eat a lot. So for breakfast, lunch, you decide to cut back how much you're eating, and then for dinner, eat a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not saying you're gonna lose weight, but you're making the first step into making that decision of uh of breaking a bad habit, instead of having to start a new one. Or what's another? Or like with, again, like being a retail worker, if you decide, hey, I don't want to be doing this shit for the rest of my life, so you decide, okay, you decide, still stick full time, but you decide you want to be a YouTuber, like a vlogger, or a TikToker, or an artist, a musical artist, or a realtor, or something. And so you decide to put in the time and effort into that. So then when it does happen, so then when you do get some sort of motion, you can look back and say, wow. You can look back 5 years. Let's say you were a YouTuber, and let's say you did weekly vlogs, literally just weekly vlogs, and then 3-5 years later, you are monetizing off of it. Let's say you're not getting millions of views, and you're not making millions of dollars a month, but you've started at a point where maybe you're starting to make $2,000 a month, maybe $3,000 a month. But that was not happening 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And now here you are. You still work at your current job, or maybe you're just part time now. You went from full time to part time. Or let's say you don't even work at your job anymore, because that $3,000 a month is sustainable enough. And then you have a break, and now you're making 6,000, 8,000. That would have never happened if you decided to not do it. And you say, man, life would have been a lot more horrible if I did not do that. It could have been. It could be. But maybe something else could have came along. Like maybe if, again, like a YouTuber, realtor, whatever, maybe that couldn't have been the case if you didn't do it. If you didn't do it, something else could have came along. Something else could have came along that would have made you do something else. You kind of know what I mean. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm just like blabbling, like just yapping it away. Right, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that, it's what the hell? Okay, Spotify. It's kind of one of those things that, kind of was just on my mind because literally before even recording this, I was legit just sitting down and like, damn, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? Like, of course, do I want to project? Do I want this podcast to reach a wider audience? Do I potentially? I mean, hell, I mean, yes, I already kind of did it in a way with. If you go back to my older videos where I was having guests upon guests, but it's like I want in-person guests. I don't mind through Zoom, but I also kind of want in-person guests. And then but then it's also like, what, like, will I ever reach a wider audience with like the realtor once I pay my dues? It's like, will I reach audience to find the right people when I move again? Will I have to start from ground zero? And what will I do? I mean, but that's just the beauty. I mean, it's all learning curve. Decisions I'm gonna make. Yes, that can make. I mean, that maybe I can. I mean, that'll hurt me. Maybe I might say, shit, I should have not done that. But I never know what the decision I would have made. If I made a different decision, if that would have yielded a better result. I don't know. No one knows. Just make your decision and just let it go. Like, not let it go, but make your decision and just run with it. And just go with it. I mean, if you really hate your job and you want to go find a new one, but you're scared that, oh well, no, I'm like, I already have like a steady relationship with the job, yada yada yada. Just go ahead and do it. Like, don't be scared to make that decision, because if you're scared to make the decision, yeah, something else along could happen, but again, you never know what that could have been. If you make the decision now to like leave, and then you go somewhere else and you realize, man, I fucking hate it here, or this place is literal shit, or you ended up loving it. Life, like, then you're like, well, life is better because you decided to make a move, and you don't know if life would have been better if you didn't. No one knows. Life could have been even better if you decided to stay, because a promotion was coming from being hourly to high salary with less work. You never know. I mean, I hope you kind of understood what I meant in the podcast. I mean, I feel like maybe I might have been just yapping it away. I don't know, but thank you for watching. For the watchers, thank you for listening. For the listeners, I'll catch you guys next Monday. Bye for now.